Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you game 2 in a best of 3 between Gnef and a.Lennart, and this is one of the semi-finals for the Great Paradox Tourney. So in the previous game we saw a.Lennart defeat Gnef in 9 minutes. It was a pretty quick game. Lennart used his 101st Airborne to defeat Gnef's 9th Panzer, which wasn't something that I would have predicted going into that game, but either way it happened, and now we're moving on to the second game where Lennart only needs to win one more to move on to the final, and Gnef now needs to win 2 in a row, so all to play for, because this is leading on to the final of course. But let's focus on today's game. This is Carpiquet, and we're seeing Gnef with the 3rd Canadian versus Lennart's 17th SS Panzer Grenadier. This is a matchup that I feel is relatively even actually, because both decks have strong artillery in the form of Sextons on the 3rd Canadian side of things, in the form of Nebelwerfers on the 17th SS side of things. Then we have strong sort of tanks. You've got the Rams coming out in the early phases for the 3rd Canadian and in the mid game. And then you've got the Stugs on the side of the 17th SS, which sort of match up quite nicely. And then you have strong infantry across the board as well, with the 17th SS being able to bring in the Stosstroop and the Canadians being able to bring in the Stormtroopers. So yeah, there is a lot to look out for in this game and a lot of interesting engagements, and we'll have to see which way each of those sort of fall as this game continues. Let's have a look at some of the units going down though. In this bottom side it is going to be some Stormtroopers accompanied by 2 units of rifles by the looks of things, with a command carrier with the command infantry of course. Then in the centre of the town there is going to be another couple units of rifles there with the Stormtroopers and command infantry, and a dingo to follow up by the looks of things. Then up near the airfield we have the Vickers HMG. There is another Stormtrooper squad with what is most likely some sniper scouts. Then further up it's going to be the Humber Mark III with 2 Vickers HMGs. There's also the rifles up there with a command and an AT gun. Over on the side of Lennart we have the IG-18 start with an AT gun. Going to be some Panzer Grenadiers with the command infantry up there as well. On the bottom side of the airfield it's going to be a couple of Stosstroop, Panzer Grenadiers, some infantry there, some command infantry, likely Speertroop with the command infantry. And then further down we have a mortar moving into the town early on with the SBW 221. Now this could actually be really useful for taking out some of the Bren carriers that Gnef will have on his 3rd Canadian, but let's have a look at the other units. We've got the Panzergrens in there, Stosstroop, command infantry, and at the very bottom side an IG-18. So the IG-18s could match up very well to the forces in the top side at least. If this AT gun can find a kill onto the Humber Mark III, there's not going to be much to stop the IG-18 from killing off a lot of this infantry, especially these Vickers HMGs, which will end up revealing themselves and not really doing too much damage in the process. So there's that. But the first thing we have to look out for is the engagement in the town. This infantry has been joined by a Wasp Mark II, which is a nice choice indeed, as it does provide the extra flames that you need in order to win out an infantry engagement that will be as close as this one. The other choice you could go for is the 2-star flamethrower squads, which are only like 10 points on the Canadians I believe, and that's pretty strong as well, and they accompany the Stormtroopers very well. But we are going to see one squad go down there. The Stosstroop actually got killed before they even unloaded on the top side. Wasp's going to be engaging the Stosstroop in the open here, and they're going to get run down by the rifles very quickly. Wow, Stosstroop already pinned down there. Very nice engagement here for Gnef early on. Manages to take out the Stosstroop, took out the command infantry down here. Forces back the Panzer Grenadiers. These Stosstroop are dead. Sniper takes out the command on the top side of the town as well. And the infantry engagement for Gnef in this town just went completely in his favour. Stormtroopers now running down the Stosstroop as well. Only one man left. Can the Nebelwerfer save the day? I don't think it can. A huge salient forming here for Gnef. 55% territory lead early on. The Humber Mark III has moved up here to engage the IG-18. It looks like the IG-18 has done a lot of damage to some of the infantry here, taking out at least one of the Vickers HMG squads, well, taking it down to 1 strength, which is not ideal at all. This Vickers HMG just sitting in the middle of the runway at the moment. Might want to get that into cover at some point. But for now, things looking very much in favour of Gnef. Command carrier and the rifle leader here doing a lot of damage to the IG-18. Looks like these stormtroopers are going to try and do a smoke run across towards the IG-18 as well, but the IG-18 did find a kill onto the command carrier, and this SPW-221 is not far off killing the Wasp Mark II as well. Could end up being a kill very easily, especially with the engine being destroyed there. So nice kill coming out of a.Lennart. That 221 definitely going to pay itself off. Stormtroopers using smoke again to try and get up and personal with this IG-18. Rifle leader going to be opening up there onto the IG-18. Stormtroopers going to be throwing their grenade out of the smoke, and that's going to blow up the IG. Okay, so that gets rid of that on the bottom side. Now it's going to be up to Gnef to get this command near to these rifles to stop them being surrendered, because at the moment there's a very good chance of these Panzergrenadiers just riding in there and forcing that surrender to happen. But the 54% territory lead for Gnef is a very good start for him. And there is now a Piet squad, I'm assuming, arriving to assist, as he doesn't want this 221 to run all over him. Piet from the rifle leader having a go, gonna miss as expected. Pack 38 gonna be firing towards this Humber Mark III. Can it find the kill? Because that would be pretty important. It would basically mean that there's nothing to contest this IG-18 at long range, because HMG on the airfield going to be pinned down by this IG. Like I mentioned before, it would be ideal to get that in cover. This Vickers HMG currently out of range of the Panzergrenadiers, but really not doing too much to Panzergrenadiers in cover. And there is not really any infantry to stop a.Lennart's infantry from moving forwards. Kangaroo is on the way, and that might be able to help out with its 50 cal. But there's still the Pack 38 to deal with, and no way to really get rid of that just yet. But across the board, especially in this town, Gnef has a very dominating position. Just needs to get rid of this 221, and then his Wasp and rifle combo will continue towards these Panzergrens. And the bad thing about Panzergrens as the 17th SS is that they don't actually have any Panzerfausts. So the Wasp Mark II can run all over the infantry of a.Lennart. Now on this top side, the IG-18 now killing off the 6-pounder there, and the Pack 38 did manage to kill off this Bren carrier. Panzergrens being pinned down by sniper scouts near the hangars, and that's not very good for a.Lennart. These Panzergrenadiers also being hit hard by the sniper scouts, so sniper scouts putting in a lot of work at the moment. So keeping these Panzergrens pinned down is very important, because it allows your infantry engagements to go so much better. Typhoon has been brought in, and that looks like it bombed out the IG-18 on the top side. Did manage to also pin down the Pack 38, and the Humber Mark III is going to go for the kill there by the looks of things. If he can just drive through and make that surrender, that would be absolutely fantastic for him on this top side. Typhoon going to be hanging around as well and using its Hispano cannons to hit the IG-18. So the Panzergrenadier there, not actually forced to surrender just yet. Humber Mark III's parked up next to the Pack 38. Is going to kill it off, surely. There we go. Pack 38 down. Infantry's in disarray on the top side. Gnef is in a very, very good position at the start of this game. Vickers HMG even killing off the Stosstroop on the airfield. Very nice indeed. Kangaroo can now just ride on forwards. He can get those rifles very far up. And even if he doesn't find the kill, those surrenders are going to come through. Unloading those rifles there, to me, seems a bit unfortunate. You could definitely get those rifles all the way up to like this hangar, which would provide a lot of presence on this top side. A +2 currently for Gnef in this game. The IG-18 does pop the Vickers HMG on the airfield, which will give back a lot of ground. And it seems as though the Humber Mark III did find itself killed off by either the 222s or the IG-18s on the top side. The infantry engagement continues in the town anyway, with the Panzergrenz engaging these rifles. Command carrier is on the way to help out. There is still the Wasp on the bottom side, and I'm definitely just surprised to see that Gnef isn't using this Wasp more aggressively versus these Panzergrenadiers, because I feel like that is like the perfect counter. You've got a Wasp here that can't be killed by the Panzergrenz unless it gets within 50-meter range, that can kill off these Panzergrenadiers very, very easily. And maybe it's just Gnef like forgetting that the Panzergrenz don't have Panzerfaust or something, but to me that seems like a bit of a waste at the moment, not taking advantage of that. Obviously he doesn't know what he's up against, and there could always be like a Panzerfaust or something in the way. But here I think he's finally identifying that this Wasp can definitely come in here and clean out some of these Panzergrenadiers very easily. So that's what we're about to see. Double Panzergrenz coming into the top side to assist the IG-18s and 221s as they push forwards. I don't believe that Gnef has anything really that can deal with the 221. He could possibly save up for a ram, and that would help him push through on the top side. But at the moment, all he's got to do is get this Wasp into range on the bottom side, and he can do a lot of damage to these Panzergrenadiers, taking them down to 5 health there very, very quickly. These Panzergrenadiers being run down by those rifles as well. And there's just no chance here for a.Lennart's infantry in this town. Gnef really paving the way. Especially with this 221 not in the right position. So early on I said that the balance of infantry engagement would be actually sort of 50-50. But that was also very dependent on this 221 and other sort of support units that a.Lennart can bring out. Whereas overall it seems as though the sniper scouts and stormtroopers have just ran all over the Panzergrenadiers after the initial engagements meant that the Sturmtrupp that a.Lennart brought in got killed off. Like very, very quickly indeed. Here we go, Wasp's just running down those Panzergrenz, making them surrender. 221's going to move very close to the infantry here. Stormtroopers actually using their 20 HE power grenade, and that went flying. Command carrier gonna be killed off though at close range. 221 possibly able to take out the Wasp Mark II as well, but this seems a little bit too late to save any of his infantry, since his infantry's mostly been routed already. Double Staghound AA has come across on the airfield. They're going to be there to deal with the IG-18, but there is a Pack 38 arriving, and that could be all a.Lennart needs to take out these Staghound AAs. Now there is a Flak 36 here. That's not going to stop the Typhoon from bombing the Panzergrenz and the IG-18 on this top side. Focke-Wulf 190, is it going to be able to find the shot onto the Typhoon? Yes it is. Typhoon goes down. Focke-Wulf 190 A8 remains alive. One of the Staghound AAs is now dead to the Pack 38. Second one will surely follow. But a +2 still in favour of Gnef, and as long as Gnef keeps this up, it will make it very easy for him to win this game, because a.Lennart will run out of time to bring this back. Now we've just moved into Phase B, and it looks like Gnef's already bought himself the 2-star Sexton here, getting himself ready for the overwhelming Nebelwerfer pressure that is going to come in from a.Lennart. So he's going to have to try and find the counter battery onto these Nebelwerfers to stop them being so much of an issue. Sniper scouts here managing to get away with that Nebelwerfer strike coming down. Didn't actually take any damage from that. Vickers HMG losing 1 man in their squad. Rifles here, not in the best position, as they have been forced to fall back by the Panzergrenz. but nowhere for them to go. On the bottom side, more Panzergrenadiers coming in to engage rifles as well. 57% territory lead now for Gnef. It's dropped that back down to a +1. Now +1 is okay for Lennart, but Lennart has a long way to go in this game now, with Gnef having such a solid position in this town. But this rifle leader definitely needs to be closer to his infantry here. He needs the command stars on these rifles, otherwise like a Nebelwerfer strike plus, you know, a charge in from like a unit could cause multiple surrenders to happen down here. There's also no command infantry on the top side. Well, there is here, but it's not in the right position to cover the stormtroopers and the rifles, and I feel like that's a big mistake that's made here. Now, it's good to see the Dingo accompanying the Sextons. That works out quite nicely, and that Sexton there trying to kill off the IG-18 at the moment. But in order to make the most out of these Sextons, Gnef is definitely going to have to micro very heavily. He's trying to find the kill onto the Pak-38 and the IG-18 at the moment. On this top side, Kangaroo's able to cover off the rifles that are still falling back on that top side. Rifles here are almost going to get pinned down by the Panzergrenadiers. That is multiple MG-34s on target. The 222 is arriving as well, and that has a 20mm autocannon that can rip to shreds a lot of this infantry. It's going to be definitely dependent on the Piat as to whether or not he can find a kill onto the 222, because otherwise there's going to be nothing here to really stop that 222 from killing everything. So the Wasp going down there, 222, can it find a kill onto the Piat? That is the question. Or can the Piat find a kill onto the 222? Another unit of rifles going down there, Piat not quite opening up. It looks like the 222 actually revealed the Piat, but because they're on return fire, they didn't actually fire, which is, I feel like, a big mistake there from Gnef, because taking out that 222 is incredibly important at the moment. Lennart here is, you know, realizing the value of 20mm autocannons versus the 3rd Canadian at the moment, bringing in the 232 to accompany his infantry as he moves forwards. So in the bottom side of the airfield here, rifles are being removed. Again, 20mm autocannon on the 222, definitely coming in handy. Look at this here. We've got the CMP Tripolston and the 2 Sextons all bunched up. I'm just waiting in the late game to see a Nebelwerfer 42 come in and blow that all up. But either way, meanwhile, the Sextons will be trying to pin down things on the top side. Try and keep his rifles alive and well. Currently, the Sextons haven't really been used very effectively. It seems like they're just not preemptively hitting the IG-18s or the Pak-38s. Lennart's keeping them moved, and that's causing issues for Gnef. He's not getting the shots on target like he needs to. And all the while, it looks like his foothold in this town is slowly falling apart. The combination of the Pioneers, Sturm Pioneers, and the 20mm autocannons across the board is just ripping through the infantry that Gnef has here. And now that most of the rifles are dead, the actual substance in this town is very small. You've got the rifle leader here that might be able to Piat the 232, but these flamethrower squads on their own don't particularly match up very well against infantry squads. But that is a very nice kill there from the rifle leader, picking up the 232 kill there with the Piat. It's a good start, good start. But he's going to have to get something in here a bit more substantial to take care of the rest of these 222s, and that is where this Sherman 3 comes in handy. On the top side, only recon left now, 2 units of recce, and they're not holding the front line forwards. So, land has completely shifted back in favour of Lennart. These Sextons have not been able to find the kills onto the Pak-38 or the IG-18, and that delay there has literally allowed Lennart to run all over the forces that were on this top side. These Panzergrenadiers have literally just ran forwards freely for the last 5 minutes. The 222 has found target onto the rifle leader, is going to kill it off. Bit of a mistake there, I can't help but feel, for Gnef. He doesn't want a 20mm to kill off his infantry squad like that. Flamethrowers trade with the Pioneers. Sherman 3 is trying to run down this 222. Sniper Scouts moving back up again. Might be able to find the kill onto the Panzergrenz here, but at that close range, there is a chance that the Sniper Scouts might go down. That is still 5 HE on target from the Panzergrenz, but the Sniper Scouts will win out this time round. Sherman 3 going to be killing off the IG-18 there. Sextons are going currently for the Flak 36, but I really want to see them continue to try and kill these Pak 38 and the IG-18, because currently those are absolutely annihilating the infantry of Gnef. And making sure you kill the IG-18 here is just very important, so that the rifles can actually contest the Panzer Grenadiers and Pak 38 on this top side. Now, if you continue to use these Sextons properly, Gnef should be able to clean up the rest of these units and gain back a lot of ground up there, but the Stug 4 currently speeding on down to find itself in range of the Sextons, and that could be absolutely devastating. And we do see what looks like the 222 kill off the Sherman 3. Must have been, because there is nothing there that could otherwise kill that. That must have been a side shot at that close range from the 222. The 20mm ammunition penetrated the side armor of the Sherman 3. And now we're seeing the Stug 4 in range of the Sextons. These Sextons really need to just start aiming at the Stug 4. That's the only way out. They do have 12 AP shells that they can use at 1,200 meter range. It's only a matter of time though until these Stug 4s land on target. Yeah, it seems as though the HE shells are being used by the Sextons. And it looks like that might not even matter anyway as Ju-87 comes in, but fails to get any kills due to the CMP Tripolsten. But all the while, with the Sherman 3 going down here, that has relinquished control of this town to Lennart. More rifles are arriving to hold the line. Stormtroopers are pinned down on this bottom side. And without the command nearby, any infantry that gets pinned down is going to get surrendered. Stug 4 hitting those Sniper Scouts pretty hard on the top side. Sherman 3 has arrived. Now that Sherman 3 can take out a 232. But he needs to be careful about this so that the same thing doesn't happen that just happened in the town. And currently it seems as if this Stug 4 still has line of sight onto the Sexton, so having that pressure onto this artillery is just really, really strong for Lennart right now. Like, Gnef needs to get these Sextons out of there. He can start engaging the Stug with his Wolverine and just get the Sextons out of there. Those Sextons have plenty of range. They have 2,400 meter range. So surely they can continue to engage from a distance. Currently, the Sexton firing its 12 HE rounds at the Stug 4 at close range. And honestly, if it can continue to do so, then that Stug 4 should be forced to fall back at some point. Driver wounded there onto the Sexton though. Wolverine should be able to force the Stug 4 to fall back. And the Sextons have remained alive. Okay, good stuff. Gnef here, his rifles got absolutely hammered by what looks like a Nebelwerfer strike. So all his reinforcements in disarray already. And this isn't going to get much better for Gnef in this town engagement due to the Pioneer Sturm Pioneer combo alongside this Nebelwerfer. And like extra Nebelwerfers right now would easily just help overrun the rest of this town. Wolverine there trying to get rid of this Stug 4. It's well out the way of the anti-air though. Oh, Ju-87 failed to get the kill. That is very, very lucky, or unlucky, whichever way you want to look at it. Lucky for Gnef, unlucky for Lennart. Ju-87 not finding the kill onto the Wolverine. It does allow the Stug 4 some respite though. Is going to fall back and recover from that engagement. Sherman 3 on this top side though, still in a pretty sticky spot. Doesn't want to get too close to this at 232. There has been a Pak 40 brought up by Lennart as well. And I believe those Sniper Scouts must have spotted that. Let's have a look. Yeah, they definitely know it's there. So the Sherman 3 is just pretty much stuck in that position at the moment until this Mosquito comes in with the bombing strike. But there is a Focke-Wulf 190 already in the sky, which has the potential to shoot down that Mosquito quite easily. But with the pin onto that Pak 40, it's time for the Sherman 3 to get into line of sight of that and hopefully take it out. Although Gnef is going to go for the run onto the 232. This 232 has the potential to get that kill at close range. Oh, didn't happen this time around. Sherman 3 is in a really good position now. Takes out the Pak 40, will likely take out the MG 42. Can also clean up the Pak 30 or Flak 36, and that can make a lot of ground for Gnef on the top side. In the middle of the map, it looks like the Wolverine did fall to an engagement with the Stug 4 now that the Stug completely recovered its morale. Generally, a Wolverine versus a Stug 4, it does fall in favour of the Stug 4 every time because of the AP and armour disparity. But on this top side, there is no AA, so the Sherman 3 going to be bailed out by the Ju-87. And that is one way to deal with that Sherman 3 and stop the pressure that Gnef had on that top side. Now we're going to see the Ju-87 go for a shot in the mid. The CMP Tripolston is still up, but that Ju-87 is still going to have a couple shots, I believe, at the Sexton. Yep, it did, but it's not going to be successful. Pulls away from that anti-air, gets out of there. So Sherman 3 going to still be able to do quite a lot of damage in this town, but there are Panzerschreck squads now hanging about from Lennart. It's only a matter of time until one of those gets line of sight onto the Sherman 3. One shot has been fired. Gnef is going to just have to hope that he gets that kill, and he did, but there's another Panzerschreck now from the other direction, and the Sherman 3 is bailed out. That is disaster for Gnef. It leaves him in such a bad position in this town, and what was such a commanding lead for Gnef early on has already been turned around for Lennart. He's found the +1 himself, and that is slowly counting up to a victory in 16 minutes. So, Spitfire going down there as well to the Focke-Wulf 190. That Focke-Wulf 190 really paying itself off this game. Sturm Pioneers are easily going to be able to deal with the Stormtroopers at close range. Rifles are trying to run down the Pioneers up here, and the Assault Pioneers are moving in as well. But there is an overwhelming amount of infantry down on this bottom side. We do see a kill coming in there, though, onto the Stug 4. The 17-pounder arrived to protect the Sextons, and that allows that kill to come through. Good job getting rid of that, but unfortunately for Gnef, his infantry is falling apart, and so is his map position. Panzerschreck gonna be artied by the Sexton just a little bit too late there, as the Sherman is pretty much already dead. And on this top side, things aren't going very well either. Rifles do manage to surrender a unit up here, but the Sherman 3, it's only a matter of time until the Stug 4 actually gets the kill there. Staghound now rolling in to assist, especially against something like this 222, although the 222 has pretty much used up all of its 20mm ammunition, and that can tell you just how effective that has been throughout the game. These 20mm autocannon units, like moving into like phase B, have been absolutely vital to push through Gnef's infantry, where he also lacked like AT himself. And that was taken advantage of. This Staghound might have been very welcome earlier on. So 2 units of Assault Pioneers now in these white trucks arriving. What Gnef really needs to do is start making these Sextons pay off and find kills onto the support units like the IG-18 here, the MG-42 in the top side. Also try and pin down some of the infantry so that his infantry has the advantage. Staghound here did find the kill, or the surrender, onto the 222. I think it was just the kill onto the 232 there. Worked out quite nicely. That's a Staghound AA there that's previously been surrendered. But Staghound at that range onto those Pioneers. Those Pioneers surely not going to last very long. Yeah, they get killed off. More Assault Pioneers rolling into the town now. CMP Tripolston is making a push forwards. I'm not entirely sure if that's the best idea or not for that CMP Tripolston, but there we have the Nebelwerfer going for a shot onto the 17 pounder. And did find the last rocket on target, taking the 17 pounder down to 2 strength. But currently we are on a 50-50. Gnef sort of stabilized a little bit. Managed to bring back that territory. And currently it's his victory in 13 minutes. So things sort of going backwards and forwards here a little bit. Definitely relying on these assault pioneers to do some work against the pioneers and the Sturm pioneers. Mosquito coming in, going to be bombing out the pioneers there and forcing a lot of that infantry to fall back. But he loses his Staghound on the bottom side, and his infantry's also gone here as well. So I'm assuming that was down to this 222, because the Panzerschreck was most definitely not in range. And that 222 finding a kill onto a Staghound is a pretty damn big deal on that bottom side. That is a engagement that you would generally see falling in favour of the Staghound. Things really just not working out here for Gnef, unfortunately. Another Staghound is going to be his reply to that engagement, and I think that's correct. You definitely just want another Staghound here to take out the 222. You just got to hope that it actually works out, because if those engagements that should go in your favour don't, it can really put you in a terrible spot. But the assault pioneers here managing to break through, killed off a unit of pioneers there, took out the enemy Sturm pioneers. Sextons are trying to clean up the IG-18s, but again, just aren't hitting the mark. Like, that IG-18 is still alive, and I can't believe it. ME-109 G2BR-21 takes out the 17 pounder as well, and that leaves a gap open for the Stug 4 to start harassing Sextons again, which is not what we want to see. Achilles is in range of the Stug 4. This is more of an even engagement between the Achilles and the Stug 4, because the Achilles does have that extra AP needed to actually penetrate a Stug 4, but the Stug 4 with its high armor can just stick around, and definitely did in this respect, as it does go ahead and kill off the Achilles there. So another engagement that I'm sure Gnef was hoping would go in his favour does not. It puts him in a very sticky position once again. Staghound does come in, takes out the 222. Now just has to clean up some of this infantry, and then it looks like Gnef might find himself some ground on the bottom side. But there is a Panzerschreck creeping forwards, and honestly, if this Panzerschreck finds a kill onto the Staghound, then honestly Gnef's going to be in a pretty terrible position. But fortunately, because that's a recon Staghound, he saw it coming. The stealth of that Panzerschreck squad not helping him out. Pioneer Führer going to be able to easily kill off the flamethrower, I feel. Never mind. Didn't actually end up throwing its grenade. So the flamethrower squad staying alive. IG-18 goes down as well. Look at that territory gain for Gnef on this bottom side. Very nice indeed. Kind of bring it back to 50-50 almost. He might find the 50-50 with this little bit of creep down here. Yep. And that's going to make things a draw currently, because no player has more than 10% over the other. Kangaroos now being brought in. They're going to make a bit more of a substantial infantry presence in this town. Those Kangaroos with the 50 cals plus the rifle squads, of course. Very useful indeed, but a couple of 222s are on the way. And if a 222 can once again find a kill onto a Staghound, that's going to put Gnef in a very bad position. I'm just waiting for it to happen again, because Gnef seems to have just not had luck on his side, but the engine destroyed there is a good start. Very nice indeed. Apologies for that sound. That's actually my follow thing for my stream, so that shouldn't be on, but either way it is, and apologies for hearing that. But yeah, 17 pounder goes down on the field here. We also saw a Sexton die to the Stug 4s pushing across this field, and I kind of feel like Lennart has found his overwhelming armor advantage in this field. Like, I was expecting to see Fireflies come out sooner from Gnef, because they can definitely challenge Stug 4s a lot better. And that's what I was talking about at the start of the game when comparing the armor and the infantry and the artillery across both divisions. Like, this Firefly needed to be here early on, and we just see the Sexton there die again for no reason. I kind of feel like these Sextons, especially after the first Stug 4 came in and started to put pressure on them, should have been fallen back behind these sort of buildings and kept out of line of sight, because allowing these Stug 4s to just move up there and kill both of those Sextons is a huge mistake from Gnef. And now we do see a 2-2-2 has come down here and taken out the Staghound. And, well, those kangaroos are all falling back. That kangaroo doesn't want to get too close to the MG42. Oh, that's going to be a surrender, surely. Yep. The Nebelwerfer there, not doing the job. Firefly has now opened up onto the Stug 4s. It's really dependent on whether or not this Firefly can find the kills onto the Stug 4s. But Gnef's going to surrender. No way. 32 minutes and 32 seconds. Minor defeat for Gnef. Ah, it's devastating. I feel like Gnef, if he had that Firefly pick up the kills onto the Stug 4s, could have pushed it back across that airfield quite handily. Oh, it's such a shame. But either way, like, maybe the thing I'm feeling here is that Gnef didn't have the infantry to continue to contest the town, and even if he'd taken the airfield, then Lennart would take the town, and maybe that's what he was thinking. Maybe that's what ended up happening. I mean, we don't always know what's left on these divisions, like in terms of availability, and often that can make the decision as to whether or not to surrender. In this case, Gnef does, and it's just such a shame to not see that Firefly pick up the kills onto the Stug 4 and maybe swing that airfield area back in favour of Gnef, because this was a very back and forth game throughout, and Gnef giving that up is a big shame, in my opinion. But either way, very, very well played by both players. Gnef had such an advantage early on, and I was surprised to see the delay on using the Wasp to take out the Panzergrenz, but I think it took Gnef a little bit of time to realise that those Panzergrenz don't have Panzerfaust, which is something that all of us are very used to. So, you know, no sort of surprise there. It's something that's quite common. But anyway, let's have a look at some of these kills. We do see the Stormtroopers and the Sniper Scouts doing well early on. That Typhoon was pretty important to control the top side. The Sexton did find the kills onto the IG-18s and the MG-42s there, but they didn't really pay themselves off throughout the game. Like, we don't see any kills on the second Sexton, and that is a big deal indeed. Like, that is a large investment of points, and if they don't pay off, then, you know, you're wasting those, and that's kind of what happened throughout this game. Again, Sniper Scouts doing well. Sherman 3 managed to come in, pick up some Pioneers, Stern Pioneers, Panzerschreck Squad there, and a 2-3-2. Didn't really pay itself off. On the top side, it did, taking out the Pack 40 and the 2-3-2. Staghounds were a good choice. Down on the bottom side, you can see that they did do quite a lot of work against the lighter vehicles of Llennart, but Llennart just had way too many 20mm autocannon units, and they overwhelmed those Staghounds, which is a shame. In terms of losses, we see the IG-18s doing work. The Focke-Wulf 190 here shot down the Typhoon and the Spitfire Mark 9. This 222, these 222s picking up the kill onto the Staghound here, the two Wasps. This one taking out that Sherman 3 in the town. That was absolutely devastating for Gnef. IG-18 actually picked up the kill onto the CMP Tripolston there as it went on an attack move forwards. Stug 4 killed off the Wolverine. This Stug 4 took out the Achilles and the Sherman 3 on the top side. Two Sextons going down to this Stug 3. And yeah, those Stugs did work, but also so did the 221 here and like the 222s throughout the entire game. But that's where I'm going to have to leave it. That means that Llennart is moving on to the final of the Great Paradox Tourney. Congratulations. Gnef is going to be going to the losers final, which is, well, the third place final. And commiserations to Gnef for losing out in this best of three. It's such a shame. But either way, yeah, congratulations to Llennart. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.